Hello again, everyone, and from Juergens Park in Arthur, it's time for another spring sports broadcast on DouglasCountyDigest.com. Today it's the Villa Grove Blue Devils against the Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights in Little Okaw Valley Conference action. Arthur on the field as they gather around their pitcher, Avery Schrock. And we're just about ready to go. Leading off for the Villa Grove Blue Devils, who come in with a record of 1 win and 7 losses. Their left fielder, Isaac Bennett, will lead it off. He'll be followed by the catcher, Gavin Gunter, and the third baseman, Garrett Gunter. First pitch, ground ball to the shortstop. Picked up, thrown over to first base, and 1 pitch, 1 out. Here in the first inning. Shortstop for Arthur-Lovington is Andy Webb. He picked it up cleanly and made the throw to first to get the leadoff man by plenty of room. That'll bring up the catcher, Gavin Gunter, right-hand hitter. Takes the first pitch around the knees for a strike. Beautiful day, finally, here at Arthur. We waited long enough for baseball weather. We finally got it. Little breeze blowing in from right field. Here's a pitch called strike 2. And Gavin Gunter is down 0-2. Nobody on, 1 out, we're just underway. Alan Patton with you from Juergens Park. Here's a fly ball to right field and right to the leaping arms of the right fielder for Arthur-Lovington, Harlan Utterback. He came in on it. There's a little bit of a dip just beyond the infield. And Utterback jumped up a little bit, but made the catch for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Garrett Gunter, the third baseman. Nobody on, 2 out here in the top of the first inning. Right-hander for Arthur-Lovington, Avery Schrock. Pitch is fouled back to the screen. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Garrett was out in front of that one, fouled off behind the plate. And we got a count of no balls and 2 strikes. 275 down the line in left field. Pretty cozy left field. Here's a pitch, bounces in for a ball. The count is even at 2-2. Nobody on, 2 out. We're in the top of the first inning. And the pitch is a ball, and the count is 3-2. On deck is Michael Simmons, the shortstop for the Blue Devils. Here's the windup by Schrock, the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball foul down the third base line. Picked up by Craig Moffitt, the head coach of the Knights. Instantly gets some ribbing from his assistant Dale Shuring. Here's the 3-2 pitch in the dirt. And Garrett Gunter draws a 2-out walk. That'll bring up the shortstop, Michael Simmons. Simmons, a senior, right-hand hitter. Blue Devils in blue jerseys with golden white trim, white pants with a blue stripe down the side. The pitch outside for a ball to Simmons. Outfield fairly straight away. A little deep in left, but probably because it's only 275 down the line. The pitch, fly ball, left field. Left fielder going back, and that one's off the fence. Garrett Gunter hustling into third base, and standing up into second is Simmons with a 2-out double. Looked for a second that was going to go out, but hit the fence. So the Blue Devils have 2 runners in scoring position. That'll bring up the first baseman, Spencer Eversole. Eversole, a freshman, right-hand hitter. Schrock into the windup. Takes a strike outside the corner at the knees. Runners at second and third. Schrock's going to pitch for the windup. The pitch on the way. In the dirt, ball gets away, but not far enough for the runner from third to advance. Jason Badman, the head coach of the Blue Devils. Down at third base, Leon Badman coaching at first. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. We're in the top of the first. Here's a swing and a miss. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. A lot going on here at Arthur. Just beyond the left field fence is Wilson Field and the track meet going on. Also at Juergens Park, there's a softball game between Villa Grove and Arthur, and the 1-2 pitch is a called third strike. And that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, or rather 1 hit, and no errors. 2 runners left on base, so at the end of a half inning, Villa Grove nothing, and Arthur-Lovington coming to bat. Okay, 2-1. Alan Patton back at Juergens Park in Arthur. We're getting ready for the bottom half of the first inning. Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights facing the Villa Grove Blue Devils. And we're ready to go with the bottom half of the first. Leading off for the Knights will be their pitcher, Avery Schrock. He'll be followed by Ross Ryan and Andy Webb. Right-hander Austin Hubbard on the mound for the Blue Devils. Looks in for the sign. Goes into his windup, and the first pitch swung on and missed for strike 1. Schrock, right-handed hitter. Hubbard crouches just a little bit when he gets his signal. Here's a pitch fouled off, and it's 0-2. Off the building behind us. If you hear a noise on a foul ball to the first base side, it's me jumping up from my seat to protect the cars, especially my car. Maybe somebody else's, I don't know. Here's a pitch ground ball to third base. Third baseman picks it up and throws, and Schrock is retired 5-3 for the first out of the inning. Garrett Gunter goes in a couple steps, picks it up, and makes the throw over to first. That'll bring up Ross Ryan. Ryan, the catcher. Nobody on. 1 out here in the bottom half of the first. Hubbard looks in for the sign from his catcher. The pitch on the way, called strike 1. Ryan, right-hand hitter. Dale Schuring coaching at first. Craig Moffitt down at third for the Knights, who come into today's ball game with a 5-6-1 record. Here's a pitch low and away for a ball, and it's even at a ball and a strike. Just like all the other baseball and softball teams in the area, they've been victimized by the weather this spring. Here's a called strike, and the count is 1-2. Some people were kind of worried about whether teams would have enough games to qualify for the postseason, but all you have to do is play 6, and you're eligible for postseason play. So they've got that taken care of. Andy Webb in the on-deck circle for the Knights. Here's the pitch by Hubbard. Ryan lays off a high pitch, and the count is goes to 1 ball, or 3 balls and a strike. Left fielder playing deep. Kind of shallow and right. And the outfielder's straight away. Well, apparently that was not ball 4. Now it's 3-2. I think after all these years I'd know difference between a strike and a ball and write it down right, but hey, we all have bad days. Hubbard looks in for the sign. 3-2 pitch on the way. Called, strike 3 at the knees. And they're 2 up and 2 down for the Knights. That'll bring up right-handed hitter Andy Webb. The Knights are missing a couple players because the Arthur-Lovington high school seniors are taking a trip to Washington, D.C. And that means the Knights are without Justin Hayes and Evan Siegmiller for today's game. Here's a ground ball up the middle under the glove of the pitcher. Second baseman comes up with it, throws to first, and the Knights go down in order in the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We've played 1 inning in Arthur, and the score, Villa Grove nothing, Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond nothing. Alan Patton back from Juergens Park in Arthur. We're ready to go with the top half of the second inning of a scoreless ball game. Leading off for the Villa Grove Blue Devils will be the center fielder, Terrion Price. He'll be followed by the pitcher, Austin Hubbard. Here's a ground ball to short, picked up cleanly by the shortstop. Nice pick over at first base by the first baseman for Arthur-Lovington, and Price is retired 6-3. That'll bring up the pitcher, Austin Hubbard. Names like Terrion Price and Austin Hubbard familiar because of our coverage of high school football, covering the Douglas County schools here on DouglasCountyDigest.com. Off-speed pitch, called strike to Hubbard, right-hand hitter. And next pitch is a ball, and count is even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Designated hitter Jake Riefsteck on deck. Here's a pitch fouled back, and the count is 1-2. Not a lot of room behind home plate. That may persuade potential base runners at third base to think twice about trying to score on a wild pitch. Here's a pitch low and away. And I've got a count of 3-1. I'm going to double check with the umpire. Schrock on the mound. Here's the pitch, fouled back behind the plate. And that should be a count of 3-2. And it is. Here's Schrock's 3-2 pitch on the way. Off-speed pitch. Low and away. Well, okay, I missed again. Now he says it's 3-2. I think I'll just wait until he says something. Here's a pitch fouled off on the first base side on the building behind us.
Keep battling, Hub. Keep going.
Jake Riefsteck, the on-deck batter. For the Blue Devils. Here's a pitch, ground ball up the middle. Shortstop has it once again, throw over to first. And a nice stretch by the Knights first baseman, Noah Yantis, to come up with the ball. And there are 2 out in the inning. We'll bring up the designated hitter, Jake Riefsteck. He's batting for the right fielder, Cole Beasley. Here's a pitch fouled off behind the plate for strike 1. Nobody on, 2 out. We're in the top of the second inning, scheduled 7-inning ball game here at Juergens Park in Arthur, just behind the high school. Off-speed pitch, stroked down the left field line. It's a fair ball. Riefsteck makes the turn at first, and we've got our first base runner of the ball game. Nice little poke down the left field line, dropped in fair. And the Villa Grove Blue Devils have a 2-out base runner. That brings up Miles Boatwright. the second baseman. 9th place hitter, Jason Badman's lineup. Here's the runner going, and he slides in safely with a stolen base. So Villa Grove with a runner at second and 2 out. After the stolen base by Reefsteck, he takes the lead at second. Schrock from the stretch, looks back, brings it home, and it's a called strike to Boatwright. Boatwright, not very big, presents a small strike zone to the pitcher. The pitch on the way from Schrock. Ground ball again to shortstop. And a throw to first retires aside. So the shortstop, Andy Webb, handles all 3 chances cleanly for the Knights. In the inning for Villa Grove, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We're through an inning and a half at Arthur with the score: Villa Grove nothing, Arthur-Lovington nothing. Arthur-Lovington comes to bat in the bottom half of the second inning of a scoreless ball game. Leading off is going to be the center fielder, Travis Schuring. He'll be followed by the third baseman, Jeremy Plank, and the second baseman, Andrew Jameson. They'll be facing right-hander Austin Hubbard for Villa Grove. Right-hand pitcher, Austin Hubbard, into the windup, the first pitch. Called strike by the home plate umpire. We have a little bit of a bad angle, but we're not calling the balls and strikes. We're just, and there's another called strike, and the count is 0-2 to Schuring. Schuring, right-handed hitter. Another name Central Illinois fans are familiar with from his exploits on the football field, the basketball court, and now the baseball field. Here's a pitch up, popped up high on the first base side. First baseman wanders into foul territory, and he makes the catch. Spencer Ebersole comes up with the out, and there's 1 away in the first inning. That'll bring up third baseman Jeremy Plank. I don't think we've not seen a left-handed hitter yet for either team. Plank steps in, number 4 on the front and back of his white uniform. Here's a pitch called strike at the knees. Knights wear the vest style tops, white shirt, white pants, red sleeves, red lettering. Here's the pitch, ball high. Plank looked like he was squaring around to bunt, then had to back out because the pitch was above his head. Count is even, 1-2. Andrew Jameson in the on-deck circle. Outfield again, fairly straight away, deep in center, deep in the left, and shallow in right. There's a pitch high and inside for a ball. We keep mentioning that it's only 275 feet down the left field line, so you got to play deep in left just about all the time. Here's a pitch fouled straight back into the screen. The count is even at 2-2. As the saying goes, easier to run in on a ball than it is to run back. That's especially true when the fence is only about 280 feet away. Nobody on, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Villa Grove and Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond. Pitch high for a ball. And 3-2 is what I have. I think the umpire said the same thing. I don't know if the scoreboard is working or not, but we can't see it. It's blocked by the first base dugout. And here's a pitch popped up on the right side. Boatwright starts out into the outfield grass and then comes on the dirt part of the infield to make the catch for the second out. 2 up, 2 down for the Knights here in the second inning. That'll bring up the second baseman, Andrew Jameson. Jameson also one of the pitchers for this Knights baseball team. He's got a record of 2 wins and 1 loss so far this season. First pitch, ground ball, right side. Boatwright has it. Backs up a step, throws high, but Eversole able to pull it down and get back on the bag. And the side is retired in the bottom of the second. For Arthur in the second inning. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Nobody left. We go to the third. Still a scoreless ball game from Juergens Field in Arthur. We head to the top half of the third inning, and we also head to the top of the Villa Grove order. Leading off, it'll be Isaac Bennett, followed by Gavin Gunter and Garrett Gunter. Facing right-hander Avery Schrock for the Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond Knights. First pitch called strike at the letters. You notice we will probably use a combination of names to refer to the Knights. Sometimes it's just force of habit to say Arthur, then you say Arthur-Lovington, and then you add the Atwood Hammond onto it. So I think it just depends on how much time I have to say the name. Pitch gets away from the catcher. Right-hand hitter Isaac Bennett, he grounded out to short. In fact, shortstop has gotten 4 chances so far. Here's a pitch fouled off to the first base side, now to play. 2-2 looks like the count from the umpire. He said we're cut off on the first base side, so it's hard to tell. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. That's the second strikeout for Avery Schrock, and with 1 out in the third, that'll bring up the catcher, Gavin Gunter. Gunter flied out to right. Right fielder for the Knights gave it the little Alfonso Soriano hop. Here's a ground ball snagged by the pitcher. He's just going to run over and make the play himself. So Gavin grounds out. Gavin Gunter grounds out 1 unassisted for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Garrett Gunter. Garrett drew a 2-out walk in the first. Got around to third base on a double by Michael Simmons, but that was as far as he got. The inning came to an end. Takes the first pitch high for a ball. Regular season winding down for both teams. Here's a pitch fouled off on the first base side. And the count is even, a ball and a strike. We've got a metal building behind us on the first base side, so if you hear a loud bang, that's a foul ball hitting the building. 1-1 the count to Gunter, nobody on, 2 out here in the top of the third. Here's the pitch. Ground ball up the middle, that gets through for a single. Just under the outstretched glove of the second baseman, Andrew Jamison. And the Blue Devils have their second hit of the ball game. We were talking about using all the names for Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond. Villa Grove going to be undergoing some changes, I'm sure, the next year or so as they co-op with Heritage. Throw over to first, runner back in time. Here's the pitch. Called strike at the knees. And Schrock jumps ahead of the Villa Grove cleanup hitter. 1 strike and nothing. Pitch on the way, off-speed pitch outside for a ball. Count is even at a ball and a strike. I've not heard any, and I'm sure the discussions are going on about the team names and the nicknames and the colors and all that stuff. Here's a little short fly ball into right field. And once again, Simmons has his second hit. He just kind of stuck his bat out there, a soft liner into right field. And the Blue Devils once again have runners on with 2 out. And that'll bring up Spencer Eversole, the first baseman. Eversole was called out on strikes to end the first inning with runners at second and third. Right now, he's got runners at first and second with 2 out. As we said, a beautiful day for baseball. About time we had one. Here's the stretch and a pitch. Fly ball, right center field. Center fielder Travis Schuring going back, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So once again, Villa Grove gets 2 runners on base with 2 out, but they're unable to score in the inning for the Blue Devils. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. They have stranded 5 runners through 3 innings. So we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning in Arthur. Still no score between the Knights and the Blue Devils. Alan Patton back at Juergens Park in Arthur. We're ready to go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Leading off for the Knights will be Noah Yantis. He'll be followed by David Emmerich and Brad Miller. Austin Hubbard set the side down in order the first 2 innings. And he faces the number 7 hitter for the Knights. Yantis squares to bunt, draws the bat back, and the pitch is a called strike. Yantis, the first baseman for the Knights. Once again, squares as if to bunt, pulls back and takes a strike, and the count is 0-2. Outfield, fairly straight away, a little bit of a gap in right center, maybe even a little bit in left center. Here's the 0-2 pitch on the way in the dirt, and the count is 1-2. Villa Grove, no runs, 4 hits. Arthur-Lovington, no runs, no hits through 2 innings. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way from Hubbard to Yantis. It bounces in front of the plate. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So after jumping ahead 0-2, Beasley, or rather Hubbard, has the count even at 2-2. Left fielder is Isaac Bennett, center fielder Terrion Price, Cole Beasley, the right fielder for Villa Grove. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, foul, tipped into the catcher's mitt, and Yantis is out on strike. Second strikeout for Hubbard. And that'll bring up the left fielder David Emmerich, batting for the first time. Outfield at the, rather infield at the edge of the dirt. Here's the first pitch, taken high for a ball. This is all dirt infield, so I imagine it's used for softball and different ages groups of baseball. Swing in a miss. And the count goes to 1-1. Also may account for the short fence in left field, although the road behind the fence also plays a part in that as well. Trying to fit it into the geography here. Here's a pitch taken for a strike. And the count is 1-2. This is all part of the Moultrie-Douglas County Fairgrounds. So it sees a lot of action here. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Hubbard. He has 3 for the ball game, and that'll bring up the 9th place hitter, the designated hitter Brad Miller. Miller, right-hand hitter. Batting for the right fielder Harlan Utterback for the Knights. Hubbard bends his knees as he gets the signal. First pitch is in the dirt for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody on, 2 out. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. No score yet. Pitch is a strike. And the count is even at 1-1. I think the last 2 batters are the first ones that Hubbard started out without going to strike 1. Pitch by Hubbard on the way. Low for a ball. And the count 2 balls and a strike. Garrett Gunter at third, Michael Simmons at short, Miles Boatwright at second, Spencer Eversole at first on the infield for the Blue Devils. Here's a pitch called strike, and the count is even at 2-2. Gavin Gunter is the catcher, and right-hander Austin Hubbard on the mound. He's a junior. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on and missed, and Hubbard strikes out the side in the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the fourth here at Juergens Park in Arthur with the score: Villa Grove nothing, Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond nothing. 1. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters are due up for Villa Grove here in the top of the fourth inning. Still scoreless ball game after 3 innings between the Villa Grove Blue Devils and the Knights. Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond. First pitch to Price, off speed pitch taken for a ball. Price grounded out to short in the second inning. And he fouls the next pitch off the plate, and the count is even. 1 ball and 1 strike. We talked about Price being a name familiar from football. He should be one of the leading returning football players in the area. Here's the pitch on the way in the dirt for a ball. He had to carry the load last few games of the season after Ryan Pierce was injured. And he did a good job. Played offense and defense. Here's the pitch on the way. Fouled again off at the plate. And the count should be even, 2-2. That's what it looks like, he says. I should have brought my indicator with me. Always think I'm going to do that, but another off-speed pitch. And Price takes it for a ball. Only 2 seniors on this Villa Grove baseball roster. Here's a pitch. Swung on and missed, or did he foul it? Yeah, they say it's a foul ball. Price swung, it went back to the backstop. Umpire held his, Price started to run, thought maybe it was a drop third strike, but umpire held his hands up and said it was a foul ball. And the count is 3-2 to Terrion Price. Just underway here in the top of the fourth inning. The pitch on the way to Price. Ground ball to the left side. Webb comes up with it, throws. Price good speed, but not good enough to outrun the arm of Andy Webb. And Price is out to start the inning, just as he did in the second. Started it by grounding out to shortstop. That's 5 chances for Andy Webb in the ball game for the Knights. And Schrock throws the blooper pitch to Austin Hubbard. There's one with a little heat on it. And it's low for a ball. 2-0 the count to Hubbard. He also grounded out to short in the second. In fact, all 3 outs were ground out to short. Here's a pitch low in the dirt, and the count is 3-0. Villa Grove with 4 hits in the ball game, but they've yet to score. They have stranded 5 base runners. Here's a pitch at the knees on the inside corner, and the count is 3-1. Jake Reefsteck is in the on-deck circle for Villa Grove. Here's a pitch fouled off at the plate. And after falling behind 3-0, Schrock has worked the count back to a full count at 3-2. Wind up by Schrock. The 3-2 pitch on the way. High for a ball. And Hubbard draws the walk. That is the second walk to go with 2 strikeouts for Schrock. That'll bring up Jake Reefstack. Reefstack singled, stole second, was stranded at second in the second inning. Hubbard creeps off to a lead. First baseman hold him, throw to first, and Hubbard is back in plenty of time. Yanis, the first baseman, holds on the runner. Schrock stretches the pitch, called strike. Reefstack takes the strike. 1 on, 1 out. Top of the 4th inning. No score yet between Villagrove. Here's another throw. Arthur-Lovington, Atwood, Hammond. Schrock looks in for the sign from his catcher. Steps off. And the runner back. Pretty good sized gap in both gaps. Here's a ground ball to the third base side of the mound. Schrock picks it up, throws to first. And they're 2 down. Hubbard goes to second base on the play, and that'll bring up Miles Boatwright, the second baseman. Boatwright has grounded out to short. Here's the pitch by Schrock. Ground ball right back up the middle of Schrock. He scoops it, lobs the throw over to first, and the side is retired. So, 2 out or 1 out walk is wasted for Villagrove. In the inning for the Blue Devils, no runs, no hits, and no errors. We had one runner left on base. So we're at the halfway point of this ball game, and there's no score between Arthur-Lovington, Atwood, Hammond, and the Villagrove Blue Devils. Villagrove pitcher Austin Hubbard has set Arthur-Lovington, Atwood, Hammond down in order in the first 3 innings. He'll be facing the top of the 9th order here in the bottom of the 4th. Avery Schrock, Ross Ryan, and Andy Webb. First pitch, called strike. Schrock straightened up as if to bat, pulled the bat back, and took the pitch for a strike. Schrock grounded out the third in the first inning. Knights looking for their first base runner of the ball game. The pitch in the dirt. That was probably a 55-footer. Bounced in front of the plate. And evens the count at a ball and a strike. Austin Hubbard, right-handed pitcher, brings it home, and it's a called strike, and the count is 1-2. We mentioned we haven't seen a left-handed hitter yet. Probably a good thing for the person that drove the big yellow bus and parked it behind the right field fence. Maybe they knew something we didn't. Because I know a few left-handed hitters would be taking aim at that thing if they had a chance. Pull it to right field and hit the bus. Here's the pitch. Inside. Did it hit him? Guess not. He backed away. It looked like it might have glanced off his shoulder, but nothing said by the umpire. So the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff batter, Avery Schrock. Austin Hubbard crouches slightly. Now he waits. Has to straighten up as Schrock gets back into the batter's box. Bends his both knees as he gets the sign and keeps the knees bent during his delivery. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to the right side of the infield. Eversole picks it up, steps on the bag, and there's 1 out here in the 4th inning. I'll bring up Ross Ryan, the catcher for the Knights. Not too often that you see See the pitcher lead off and the catcher bat second in a batting order. Of course, if you're keeping score, pitcher's position 1, catcher's position 2. Here's the pitch by Hubbard. Swung on, fouled off the catcher. May have caught the umpire too. Umpire takes off his mask. Comes out to brush off the plate. I don't know if he's letting the catcher collect his thoughts or if he's collecting his own. Nobody on, 1 out. We're in the top of the 4th inning. No score between Villa Grove and Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond. Hubbard looks in for the sign from his catcher, Gavin Gunter, the pitch. High and inside for a ball, evens the count at a ball and a strike. Right fielder playing in a little shallow in right field. About medium depth for Terry and Price in center. Here's a pitch high and away, goes back to the screen. And the count is 2 balls and a strike. Left fielder for the Blue Devils, Isaac Bennett. Back fairly deep. In front of the 275-foot sign down the left field line. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way, fouled off on the first base side, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Next to last week of the regular season for high school baseball. Teams will wind up their regular seasons next week, and then 2 weeks, we start the postseason. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fouled off back to the screen. I did not look at the assignments, regional assignments for these 2 teams. But I know Arthur-Lovington Atwood Hammond, because of the co-op situation this year, they've bumped up to 2A. And I don't know if they're in the same regional as Tuscola and some of those schools. We'll have to double check the assignments. Here's a pitch low, and the count is 3-2. Of course, I think south of Route 36, the sectional is at Teutopolis, I believe. Like I said, I'll have to check those. You're kind of working to the south, picking up the Southern Illinois 2A teams. Here's the pitch on the way. Just outside for a ball. And the Knights have their first runner of the ball game. A walk with 1 out to Ross Ryan. That'll bring up Andy Webb, the shortstop. Of course, you talk about 2A powers in Southern Illinois, you're going to be looking square at the Harrisburg Bulldogs. They've had a outstanding baseball program for years, and now they're kind of acting as a feeder program for the U of I baseball with the Roper brothers. Here's a pitch line into left center field. Runner makes the turn at second. He's up and the throw's into the infield. And the Knights have their first hit of the ball game. So with 1 out, a walk and a base hit rather, give the Knights their first 2 runners of the ball game. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Travis Schuring. Schuring popped out in foul territory to the first baseman back in the 2nd inning. Arthur with a little bit of a threat going here in the bottom of the 4th. We said scheduled 7-inning game. Of course, that could be affected by if one team gets a 10-run lead. Hubbard looks back. Base runners go back to their respective bases. Or as those of us old enough to remember Dizzy Dean, I think he said the respectable bases. Here's a pitch, butted out in front of the plate. Hubbard can't make the catch, throws to third, and the force out. to retire. Ryan.
2-3. Way to jump, son. 4-5. Way to stretch.
Schuring bunted it out in front of the plate. Hubbard came off the mound, tried to field it in the air, but it bounced in front of him. He picked it up, threw to third for the second out to get Ross on the force out. So with 2 out, runners at first and second, that'll bring up Jeremy Plank, the third baseman. Plank popped up to second his first time up. Looks like the wind's picking up a little bit. Here's a line drive down the right field line. That's going to drop in for a hit. Here's a runner around third. He's going to try to score. He's in standing up. And now runners caught between first and second. He's in a rundown as Schuring scores. And he's still in the rundown. 2 runs have scored. Here's a throw. Hubbard makes the tag. And he's retired, but both runs count. And Arthur-Lovington, after going hitless for 2 innings, come up with a pair of hits and a pair of runs here in the bottom of the 4th. 2 runs for the Knights on a pair of base hits. No errors and nobody left on base. We come to the end of the 4th inning at Juergens Park in Arthur with the score: the Knights 2 and Villa Grove 0.